Hi, welcome to the fourth coaching session in this series on mental performance training. I'm Coach M, and this week we're going to talk about um, discipline and self control as a way to train our minds, mental performance training to achieve our goals. There's no question that being able to exert self-control and discipline when it comes to change behavior is essential for that change behavior. But it's also extremely hard and it takes time to develop. So it's usually you need kind of like a multifaceted approach to developing self-control and self-discipline. And also there is a variety of techniques to do that. So I'm going to show you a technique that's built on last week's lesson, which was the start, stop, and continue. So last week we did start, stop, and continue. And at the end of the lesson, I told you to put your energies into the stop behavior, getting the consistency as high as possible. How did that go? Um, I hope it went really well, and I hope that you found ways to stop that behavior and consistently do it. But if you struggled, you're not alone. That's to be expected. It is the hardest behavior to stop. And we always need reinforcements for stopping behaviors that don't support our health goals because they become habits. And also, they're strongly reinforced both neurologically and environmentally, socially. There's thousands of barriers to stopping behaviors that aren't providing us value and aren't helping us achieve our goals. So one thing we do is track them, like we learned last week. We track them, we put our energy on, we try to consistently stop them. This week I want to show you a technique you can use if you are struggling to kind of stop a behavior that you feel is not giving you value and is not supporting your goals. And it's delaying gratification. Basically, that is the self control and the discipline technique that you want to use. um, Delaying gratification is the first step in stopping a behavior. So if you find you're struggling to stop, I don't know what, soda drinking maybe, or um, I'm trying to think what, like eating pizzas all the time, or any, there's something you want to do that you just like, oh, it's a behavior that you just love, and it calls you and you want to resist it, but you can't. Maybe you can't stop it right away and you need to build up to that. So start by just trying to delay it. So let's say you want to have, like, you're trying to cut back on something, maybe sugar. You're trying to eat less processed food, and you come across a tub of ice cream. Okay, and you're gonna eat it. I mean, what can you do? It's there, you're gonna eat it, okay? But you know that it's like one of your goals is to consume less processed refined sugars, and it's just like, oh, I want it. Okay, you're gonna eat it. It's not a big deal. But I'm telling you, if you can find a way to delay just going at it and shoveling it in your mouth the moment you want it, you will start rewiring neural pathways in your brain that trigger that compulsion and that trigger that desire to eat that and have that reward. You'll start rewiring that, and over time it will become easier and easier, and that desire to eat or to do whatever it is that you're trying to stop, it will get stronger and easier for you to like pass on it intermittently, and maybe do it later, or not have ice cream now and do this or that. So there's a few ways to delay gratification strategies. There are many external ways. So you can delay through distraction, you can delay through other external delays. There's also internal ways to delay gratification, and I'm going to show you one of those now. In general, I prefer to coach internal self-regulation techniques because these you can take anywhere. Sometimes when we learn external motivation, external self-regulation techniques, they're helpful for sure, but you depend on them. They have to be there for you to use it. And sometimes we find that our environment is nothing we can control. So to develop internal skills like that, internal mechanisms for self-regulation and self-motivation, self-control, hugely beneficial, just because you can take it anywhere with you at all times. So the one I want to show you for delaying gratification is a breathing exercise. And it works because while you're doing the breathing exercise, first it distracts you for a moment, but then it also takes you kind of into this sort of relaxed state, and you lower your blood pressure, and when you come back to whatever wonderful thing it is that you're about to do that you don't want to do but you still want to do it, you have this headspace, and you're like in a better position to decide and to kind of like disconnect from the immediate gratification, which reinforces that neurological reward. So the breathing exercise is 6 seconds in, hold your breath for 4 seconds, and then exhale for 8. So you're going to do that 3 times or 5 times, depending on like how much headspace you really need at the moment, how intense that desire is that you are trying to delay the gratification. And by doing that, you're going to just give yourself a little break. You're going to lower all of your, your blood pressure, your heart rate, especially that hold is very important. So you breathing in and you're going to hold your breath. This is what's lowering the heart rate, taking you out of sort of a stimulated state. And do that maybe 3 or 5 times. And then take a look again at the behavior. You have delayed, and therefore give yourself permission to do whatever you want, because you've delayed the gratification first. You've built that self-control muscle a bit. You've practiced it. You've exercised it. Go from there. Eventually, as you continue to delay gratification, the reward will not be as strong, and it will be easier to just stop the behavior that you've decided that isn't providing you value towards or helping you reach your goals. Okay, so that's the last lesson in the series. I hope you've enjoyed them. You can find me online, and I hope to meet you at some point. Thank you for watching these videos. And if you have other topics on mental performance training that you're interested in having me do some videos for, let me know.